Hello, Philippines, and hello, amazing world. Good day to all. Today, we're going to learn a new lesson. And let me share, of course, my screen for you all. Okay, this is, of course, your Sir A, and we are now with, of course, our assessment two. This is actually the first lesson that we have, and the title is The Basic Concepts, Theories, and Principles in Assessing Learning Using Alternative Methods. But before we're going to start our lesson, let's try to click, of course, subscribe if you are not yet my subscriber. And of course, like my videos. Thank you. Okay, for our, of course, desired learning or significant learning outcomes for today, the first is define and explain assessment, and it focus more on the alternative and, of course, related concepts. Then demonstrate an understanding of the different principles in assessing learning using alternative methods of assessment. And lastly, answer the assessment task or performance task. Okay, or and create a reflection paper and submit outputs in the canvas that we have. Okay, let's first, of course, define assessment. In your assessment one, actually, we have already, defined the term assessment, but let's have a recap, okay, of the word assessment. Okay, when we say assessment, of course, it talks about the estimation or evaluation of the nature, then the quality and ability of someone or something. Take note of the word evaluation and estimation. And there is also the word nature or quality there being assessed. Okay, and it's the wide variety of methods or tools that educators use to evaluate, measure, and document the academic readiness, learning progress, the skill acquisition, and educational needs of students. Take note of these words. It's a method, no? A variety of method, meaning varied. Okay, or tools that we can use, no? Okay, in the process of evaluating, measuring, even documenting these, of course, readiness of our students, even how they acquire, of course, the skills and even their needs, no, as students. Okay, when we say, of course, assessment, there are some related words, okay, that can be probably associated with, like, for example, evaluation. Yeah, we evaluate, we compute, no, from computation, we appraise or appraisal, we even calculate. Yeah, we estimate, for example, distance, no? We gauge, okay, it's just like also a measurement. Analysis, so we analyze, we rate, no? Supposing from the rating is from 1 to 10, so what's the rate? So that's it. Okay. Pricing, for example, if we're going to talk about product determination and, of course, value judgment. Yeah, these are, of course, related words associated with the word assessment. There is another, of course, definition that would say it is a critical step in the learning process. And of course, it determines whether or not the course learning objectives have been met. I like that one. The course objectives have been met. And when we say, of course, a learning objective, it is what students should know or be able to do by the time a lesson is, of course, completed. And assessment, of course, can affect many facets of our education. And that includes, of course, the grades of our students, even the placement. When I say placement, of course, where do you place from? For example, there are three sections. So it depends on, of course, the score of the students or taking the test or entrance. And of course, you will place the students either, of course, from section A, B, or C. And some schools are also considering, of course, the grade point average or the GPA, and of course, advancement, as well as, of course, we can improve our curriculum, even the instructional needs, and of course, the funding of the school. In general, we have, of course, two benefits of assessment. The first is, of course, to provide more effective instruction. That's for the teacher, no? For us, of course, to provide very good instruction for our students or learners, and of course, to evaluate achievement or learning. Okay, so this talks about, of course, the learning of the students or their achievement. Okay, let's have the reasons why, okay, we assess. So why assess students? Of course, the first answer is to gather evidence of student learning. Yeah, we cannot, of course, have um, just probably a score without, of course, assessing the students. And of course, to inform instruction for effectivity. Another is to motivate students and increase students' achievements. I like that one, no? Okay, and when we talk about, of course, assessment and education, it is a process. So we gather, we interpret, we record, and of course, use information about, of course, the students' response, okay, or responses to educational tasks. What are these tasks? So probably the activities that we have, the performance tasks, yeah, the authentic assessment, even the summative assessment that we have. That's according to Harlan and Gipa, Notal in 1992. So that's it. Again, when we say assessment and education, it's a process wherein there is gathering, interpreting, recording, and using information. Okay, the process is useless if you're not going to use the information. And we are also reminded when we have, of course, assessment, it should be effective, no, in nature. And it should include, of course, evaluating changes that take place in students' knowledge. I like that one. Yeah. Okay. If there is something, no, that change that probably took place, okay, in the students' knowledge in their skill, no, set, and of course, their attitudes towards the discipline. So this has been called, of course, the ABCs of student assessment. And when we say, of course, the ABCs, A stands for effective, no? There is, of course, change in students' attitudes, even perspectives or viewpoints. We have also behavioral, which talks about, of course, the change in student habits. And the last is, of course, cognitive, which gains, of course, it's, of course, a gain, no? In knowledge and thinking skills. So again, we have, of course, A, B, C. A for affective, B for behavioral, C for cognitive. Let's continue in your assessment one also we discuss of course with assessment having three main purposes. We have this assessment for learning, assessment of learning, and of course assessment as learning. Let's first start with of course assessment as learning. So it occurs when students of course reflect on and monitor their progress, no, to inform their future learning goals. And this is sometimes called, no, or this is called of course self-assessment. The other one is, of course, assessment for learning. So this occurs when teachers use inferences about student progress to inform teaching. And by nature, it's formative. Okay, and the last is, of course, assessment of learning. So it occurs when teachers use evidence of student learning to make judgments on student achievement against, of course, the goals and the standards we set. So that's, of course, summative. Again, we have assessment as learning, assessment of learning, assessment for learning. Let's discuss this further. Let's start with the assessment for learning. So the Tagalog version or Filipino version of that is assessment para sa pagkatuto. Again, assessment para sa pagkatuto. It's a formative by nature, as what we have mentioned, and this is to inform his or her teaching. It's about teacher. And it occurs throughout a learning sequence. Yeah, throughout, meaning probably it could be from the start, no? And during, of course, the teaching and learning process. It's also done to, of course, it is done to know the progress and, of course, the learning gaps. So examples that we can have here is the seat works that we can have for our students, the Q&A, no, the quizzes. Take note, it's recorded but not graded. That's assessment for learning, assessment para sa pagkatuto. Let's have another. Okay, assessment as learning. Okay, here, assessment bilang pagkatuto is a self-assessment. Yes, what we have mentioned in the previous slide. And it assess student own learning. Take note, it assess students own learning. It is also self-directed. And the examples that we can have, no, for our class. Okay, supposing that you're having, of course, assessment, now you can create reflections or students can create a reflections. Yeah, and of course, they can share insights. So this is for monitoring of their own learning or the learning of our students. Okay. We have Okay, assessment of learning. So this is, as what I mentioned, assessment ng natutunan or pagkatuto. And this is summative, no, by nature. And we wanted to know what the students have learned. So that's it. We conduct this one. And to certify students' competence. So we have, of course, competencies to attain. So this assessment could call, okay, in certifying, of course, students' competence. Example, we have, of course, the mastery test, the achievement test, no? The summative test, okay, the periodic test, the prelim, midterm, or final exam in college. And this is used for grading purposes. So that's it. That's assessment of learning. Okay. We have, of course, importance of assessment. So we have actually four here. The first is knowledge. Second is skill performance. The third is process. And of course, to know, okay, the motivation or effort. So if we wanted to know the knowledge, okay, that is to find out, of course, what students know. When we say, of course, skill and performance, okay, that is to find out what the students can do. Take note, students can do and how well they can do it. So that's performance. And when we say, of course, process, that is to find out how students go about the task of doing their work. And lastly, of course, if we wanted to know their effort and motivation, that is to find out how students feel about their work. Are they happy? Yeah. Are they enthusiastic? So that's the question that we can have also. Okay, what about what is a student's assessment for? Okay, here are, of course, the answers to help us, of course, design and modify programs to better promote learning and student success. Yeah, very nice. Then we have to provide, of course, common definitions and, of course, benchmark for students' abilities. We wanted to know their abilities, so there should be benchmarking. Okay, why? Of course, it will enable us to act more coherently. I like the word coherently and effectively. Yeah, very nice. Again, effectively and coherently to promote student learning among, of course, our students in class. Okay, we have, of course, three functions of assessment. So the first is, of course, diagnostic. From the word diagnose, no? That is to tell us what the student needs to learn, diagnostic. The second is, of course, formative, and that is to tell us how well the student is doing, okay, as work progresses, formative. And the last is, of course, summative. That is to tell us how well the students did at the end of a unit or a test. Again, we have diagnostic, formative, and summative. So the acronym for that is DFS. Okay, DFS. DFS, diagnostic, formative, and of course, summative. These are the three functions of assessment that we can have. Okay, the next question that we can have is, of course, what can be assessed? Okay, what we're going to assess with our students. So number one is their student learning characteristics. We know that, of course, our students differ in their abilities, no? Even in their learning styles. The next is student motivational characteristics. So we wanted to know their interest, their self-efficacy, no? The goal orientation. When we say self-efficacy, it means the self-competence that they have, not their ability and capability. The next is, of course, we wanted to know their learning. Okay, what kind of learning? So we have, of course, that content knowledge, no? Their ability to apply the content knowledge, even their skills. We wanted to know their skills. Okay, their dispositions and attitudes, and of course, performances. Take note, when we say disposition, it means personality or character. Okay, the next question probably is that how should we assess? So you can see here now the different ways on how we're going to assess. So you can have, of course, the summative type, no? Okay. Wherein, of course, you can have traditional question type of test like the true false, the multiple choice, no? The completion, the short answer, even essay. So if you wanted to dwell with, of course, the authentic or alternative assessment, okay, or performance tasks, we can have now practical exam, even papers or reports, projects, questionnaires, even inventories, no? We can do also per rating, no? They of course they can be rated by their peers, no, self-rating, journaling, no, they can create journals, even portfolio. I like portfolio. Like, for example, the e-portfolio that we have in class. Now, observations, even discussions, and they can conduct interview. So these are, of course, ways on how we assess. Okay, let's have the criteria in choosing an assessment method. The first is, of course, it should be reliable, no? Okay, when we say reliable, it means authentic or dependable. The second is it should be valid. Yeah, I like that one. Valid. Now it means correct, sound, or reasonable. And the third, it should be simple to operate and should not be too costly. Yeah, very simple. And of course, the fourth, it should be seen by students and society in general. Okay. And it should benefit, no, all students. It should be fair to all students and benefit all students. You cannot have a test, no, supposing a prelim or midterm or a periodic exam wherein students will not have the same time. So if you started 7 and end at 8, it should start with 7 o'clock. Not you can start it with 7:30 and the rest of the students start, no, at 7. So equal. Okay. Who should be involved in assessment? Of course, the teacher. Yeah. The students that you're going to assess, of course, the students' peer, supposing there is okay peer rating, no, the administrator of the school, even the parents. So it calls for, of course, to the parents to have involvement, okay, in their children's probably academic performance. So therefore, of course, parents are required to monitor their progress. Probably as parents, we need to ask our students, our children rather, okay, what are the activities they have in class, what happened in class for today, and so on. So that's a nice practice. Okay, what should we do with, of course, the information from our assessment? That's the next question. Of course, the first is, of course, we can have diagnosis, no? And it is used to improve the focus of our teaching, what we are going to focus. The second is for motivation. Yeah, use it for focus students' attention and, of course, the strengths. Okay, use it also to improve program planning. Supposing we are assessing our program. And, of course, it is used for reporting to parents. I like that one, no? There should be progress report, okay, for parents. That's it. Okay. What about the purpose of the assessment? Now, this is based on, of course, the research conducted, no? And we have, of course, general purpose of the assessment. We have this administrative, the instructional, and research. Okay, for administrative, the specific reason for assessment is, of course, placement, probably where you want to place the student. No exemption in a subject in a class. Like supposing the scores are not very high, like the prelim midterm. No? Okay, you can exempt students. Certification, if you wanted to have a certificate. Promotion, I like that one. No? And even general assessment for that matter. When I say, of course, instructional, so it's diagnosis, no? Diagnostic in nature. You want to know the evidence of progress, even feedback not to the respondent. That's instructional and evaluation of teaching or curriculum. For research, of course, there is evaluation, there is experimentation, and even language use. Okay. So that's again the three purposes of the assessment: administrative, okay, instructional, and research. The acronym is AIR. AIR. Again, administrative, instructional, and research. Okay, let's discuss traditional assessment. Let's review, no? Okay, with the traditional assessment that we have. Of course, when I say traditional, there is now the strategies or tools to provide on students' learning, which we use, of course, traditional assessment. Okay, and typically, of course, it's objective by nature. Now we have multiple choice. Okay, and the subjective is about essay, no? It talks about paper and pencil tests, okay, that are being used not to assess students and often used as the basis for evaluating and grading students and commonly used in classroom because they are easier to design and quicker to be scored. So this traditional. Okay, in contrast, we have, of course, alternative assessment. So what's with this? The use of non-traditional assessment strategies or tools to collect information on student learning. And the examples of these, no? Okay, a form of assessment are the performance oriented. No, you need to perform. And from the word no performance, and of course, the product oriented assessment methods. So when we say product, you create, of course, a product or output at the end of the day. So at the core of alternative assessment is the need to design and implement assessment tasks or activities. Now, take note, assessment tasks or activities that refrain from using the traditional, okay, paper and pencil test, which typically, of course, assess cognitive learning outcomes. Now, when we say paper, pencil, more focus is of course the cognitive learning, and thus of course have the right and wrong answers. Duha lang na you have two answers there. Okay. If it is not true, of course, it's false. So that's it, no? But an alternative assessment would call always for one answer. So that's it. Okay, one answer. There is only one answer, even if it's multiple choice type of test, no? Identification, the true false test. Okay, that's it. Then we have, of course, features of alternative assessment holding according to syllabus 3, TIPA in 2009. No? And according to this, assessment is based on authentic tasks. I like that, no? That demonstrate learners' ability to accomplish communication goals. I like communication goals. Then instructor and learner focus on communication, not a right and wrong answer. How they communicate, probably. And learners, of course, help to set criteria for successful completion of communication tasks. And of course, learners have the opportunities to assess themselves and their peers. I like that one, not self-assessment and peer assessment. Okay. We have performance assessment. So here you can have assessing a student's learning by requiring, of course, a student to perform a task or develop a product as a demonstration of one's learning. And of course, the focus is on providing opportunity for the students to apply what they have learned. So there is, of course, the application, as uh, seen or probably focus, and the emphasis rather is on assessing what students know and what they can do. I like that one. We wanted to know what they know and what they can do, and of course those resembles what typically performed or experienced in the real world. I like that one, no? You resemble. Okay, and there's of course performance in the real world, and that's the high degree, no, of realism. It talks about, of course, reality. Okay, and it pertains to students' construction and even the use of portfolios when we say, of course, portfolio assessment, no? And I know each of you already have performed probably in having or creating portfolio, the traditional one, not traditional portfolio. And some of you have already the e-portfolio. So when we say a portfolio, now it's a collection of learning and performance artifacts by a student, and it's typically accompanied by personal narratives and reflections. If we're going to relate portfolio as a drawer, no? Okay, as like a drawer, you can have, of course, the cabinet, and of course, there is um, a drawer in each, no, in the cabinet. Okay, so if we will have, of course, a portfolio, there's okay pages of these, and the use of portfolio allows students to document and demonstrate okay their accomplishments in the classroom, even provide opportunities for, of course, the learners and their teachers to evaluate the progress in a given period of time. So that's it, no? There is evaluation of the progress. Let's have the three models of alternative assessment. So we have, of course, emergent assessment from the word okay, emergent, or okay, no, emergent. The assessment focus on determining, of course, the effects. I like that one, effects of instruction on students. And when I say, of course, development, no, it focuses on determining the extent that students have developed, no? There is development. Yeah, students develop their competencies from instruction. And there is, of course, with the development, there is pre-test that you're going to conduct, no? And of course, post-test at the end to collect information. If the students have improved probably or developed after instruction, if there is development. Okay, and of course, the last, which our focus in this module is the authentic assessment. And this is the most popular model for alternative assessment. So it refers to the use of assessment strategies or tools that allows the learners to perform or create okay, a product that is meaningful to the learners. To perform or create a product that is meaningful to the learners. Of course, take note. Okay, as they are, of course, are based on real world context, no? In reality. So that's it. Now there is, of course, um, creation and of course performance with this authentic. Let's have the criteria in determining if an assessment task or activity is authentic or not. So the assessment task or activity can, of course, built around topics, no, be built around topics or issues of interest to the students. So that's authentic. And it replicate real world communication context and situations. I like that also, no? And it involves multi-stage tasks and real problems that require creative use of language rather than simple repetition. So repetitive probably scenario is not present with, of course, the authentic, no? Okay, authentic assessment. So that's it. And it requires learners to produce a quality product or performance like that one, no? Very specific that the learners are required to have quality product. And it introduce, of course, the introduces the students to the evaluation criteria and standard. There is, of course, criteria that you need to follow, and of course, the standards set. No, okay, and of course, it involves the interaction between the assessor. When I say assessor, can be, of course, the instructor, even the peers. No, can assess also self, and the person assess the students. And it allows, of course, self-evaluation and self-correction as they proceed. I like that one. No? There is self-evaluation and self-correction. Okay. Another four, of course, principles in assessing learning using alternatives is that assessment is both process and a product oriented. Yeah, very true. Then assessment should focus on higher order cognitive outcomes. Yeah, we probably focus on with the HATS, the higher order thinking skills, because there is higher order cognitive outcomes. And assessment can include, of course, a measure of non-cognitive, which is the psychomotor and effective learning outcomes. I like that one. We need to include, okay, psychomotor and effective learning outcomes or the domains that we have. And assessment should reflect real life or real world context. Yeah. Okay. Assessment must be comprehensive and less holistic. Okay. Comprehensive. Take note again, comprehensive. It should be comprehensive and holistic. And assessment should lead to student learning. If there is no learning, okay, assessment is useless. So that's it. Okay. This is the last no slide that we can have. So the question is why link assessment with instruction? Take note, better assessment means better teaching. Yeah, when you teach well, of course, you will assess well. Okay, and better teaching means better learning. Do you agree? Yeah, for me, it's true. Better teaching means better learning, and better learning means better students. I like that one. Better learning means better students, and better students mean better opportunities for a better life. So that's it. Okay. That's the end. We have, of course, the assessment task in your Canvas, yeah, to be conducted or performed. No, okay. These are our references for today's lecture. Okay, this is again Sir A saying thank you and God bless. So that's it. Okay. Enjoy the rest of the day. See you soon. Bye.